your horror movie podcast.
Let's go. What's up, Hackstab / it's your boy Hacky and Just Justin. We're doing a duo podcast today, and this is one of our 13 Days of Halloween episodes. My man Just Justin picked this one. It's called Dark Harvest, and boy, oh boy, am I glad we watched this because I had never seen this shit before. What about you?
I have never seen it before. I actually only picked it just because I saw it had a corn maze in it, and I saw they had creepy masks, and I'm like, oh, that looks like we're going for the fall aesthetics, and it looked like it nailed it. So I was like, hey, let's fucking go.
Bro, I'm dying right now because that's the exact reason why I picked There's Someone in Your House. It had a cornfield and a cool ass mask.
Yeah, I do.
And that one was a big swing and a miss when it came to a Halloween concept. But this one, dude, I don't know if you can see behind me right here, but that is like, if you wanted to transition Jack Skellington from A Nightmare Before Christmas and make him an actual horror character, here's your boy right here.
Yeah, wicked creepy. Like, well, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but yeah, creature design, it's really good. I already know which one of us liked it more. This movie more, but we'll get through that too. But it's
I might challenge you on that, dude. I had no idea what I was getting into. I watched nothing on this. We both said we heard a lot of hype when it came out, and we were just like, all right, we'll wait for the pod, and then we forgot about it. Yeah. But I had no idea, like, even the time period this was set in.
No, dude, I was actually very confused. I'm like, well, we'll talk about that too. I was actually it took me back a second. I was like, wait, what did I pick?
All right, so let's dive into this.
Yeah, let's get
we open to a voiceover giving us the legend of Sawtooth Jack and how they have to kill him before he reaches the church at midnight. We meet a boy in like a presidential costume, and this is actually the opening cover, I believe, of the movie poster. And this kid is like panicking. He's in the middle of the road by himself. I have no idea what's going on. At first, dude, I thought he was out like trick-or-treating.
Yes,
and he starts swiping. I think he's got like a scythe in his hand. Yeah, it just like he's batting away like, I don't know, mosquitoes,
something like that.
And you hear this like, and he straight up pisses his pants. And pee apparently is very flammable because the next thing we know, we get a 3.1 second clip of Sawtooth Jack and his head literally becoming a ball of fire. And next thing you know, there's just a group of kids standing around and they're staring at this kid on the ground on fire like it's fucking normal. Yeah, they all have masks on and they're just like looking at him like, oh yeah, all right, well, let's move on to the next one, guys. Nothing to see
very
here.
Weird. Like they literally watched him. It was like a slow burn. He was just sitting there like friggin' just toasted.
And then we realized that no one's got any Hershey's, no one's got any marshmallows, certainly no graham crackers, so s'mores are out of the question. But they spot Sawtooth Jack in the distance, and they literally just go, look, there! And they fucking break out into a full sprint.
They were off to the friggin' races, holy crap.
The only person I've ever seen run faster than this was the kid who got hit by a car in Children of the Corn.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh.
But they chase Sawtooth Jack through these cornfields, and he's wiping kids out as they're chasing him, which is sick. And eventually, they catch up to him, and it's Jim. We meet Jim. He starts beating the shit out of him with a baseball bat. And at this point, I'm still like, I don't know what's going on. Is this like when you grease up a pig and you got to like run around and catch him? Is that the premise of this movie? I don't know that this is a legitimate character. How do you feel about that?
I know what was happening.
Yeah, because it looked like when they caught up to Sawtooth Jack and everyone was chanting, it looked like he turtled and was just like taking the beating instead of fighting back.
Right. Yeah, he ran and just like kind of like fell awkwardly in.
But then he kills him and everyone's chanting, Jim's the winner. And he I watched this multiple times. On the first rewatch, I wasn't too sure what they were doing. On the next one, dude, he's ripping like licorice ropes out of his chest and they're eating them. And I'm like, oh, all right, this is like a town tradition. Like, you know, it's like a life piñata and they just beat the hell out of it for Halloween.
Tell me you didn't think though the first time, like I literally thought he was like eating this guy. Like I thought it was a person. I'm like, is this a cannibal? I'm like, what am I witnessing? He's like you said, he's ripping into this guy and eating it, and you see like the red stuff. You don't know what it is, and I'm like, is
Yeah,
that like
because all their
organs?
mouths are like black.
Yeah, and then they
And
start
coming,
howling. Why
yeah.
I'm like, what kind of cannibalistic, like
I was
psychopathic
just
movie are we
waiting for
watching?
like an older gentleman with an eye patch to walk around screaming, "The South will rise again."
Oh, we're watching 2001 Maniacs again.
Yeah, dude, like I at this point, dude, I'm thoroughly confused. I don't know exactly what's going on. And then it fast forwards. We see Jim. He's getting a prize, and it's $25,000 and a sweet brand new Corvette and a full tank of gas, and they call it "See the World" money because we realize this is what 1962,
Yep.
and $25,000 back then
Oh,
could set you up for life. You could start a business. You could buy a house. Yeah, you don't ever have to go to work again. And Jim just leaves. Doesn't say nothing to no one. Doesn't even take his girlfriend with him. We meet Richie too. He says, "Hey, take me with you," and he just says, "Love you, baby B," and just takes the fuck off. And I thought it was pretty cool when he's like, "No stop signs on the black road."
Yep.
I thought it was pretty. It started.
It was cool.
I'm like, I'm feeling this time frame. I'm feeling this lingo.
Yeah, it took me a little bit to warm up to this time frame, but I ended up liking it.
And then we fast forward a year later, and we see Baby B has gone from being Baby B to now he's Richie, and he's not the innocent little brother no more. He is now the brother, all grown up, and he's wearing like a badass jean jacket that says "Bandits" on the back. I think it says "Bandits of Bastogne."
Something, yeah.
And Officer Jerry Ricks. That's about as southern and hick as you can get. 2 first names. My man Jerry Ricks. He's now just screaming at these kids in the gymnasium. They having like a meeting, and he's telling them like, y'all will be competing in the run. And in the middle of this, Richie and his gang kind of get into like a scuffle with a bunch of jocks. This reminds me so much of the Greasers versus the Socias and the Outsiders. I'm just saying this right now, Justin. If they ever do a remake of the Outsiders, my man Richie and Mitch both need to be in it.
Dude, they secured that role. They knew what they're doing. They're like, you know what, if this ever happens again, they're like, pick us. We're going in this. Let's go.
Richie would make a great pony boy. They get into a scuffle, though, and then we get a quick cutscene after they break it up. And Richie is hauling ass through the town because he's trying to outrun Riley, our jock, who's just a bully. He hides inside a movie theater where we now meet this girl, Kelly, and she's the new girl in town. Richie gets some popcorn. There's a little back and forth. Things are feeling good, but Richie takes off, and he goes and he meets up with the fellas who now start gossiping about Kelly and her love for pyromania. Apparently, this chick has lit barns on fire, mines on fire. She just lighting everything up.
She don't care. She'll light it up.
They're in like a little convenience store. They're buying a soda pop. Like, this is what it was like back in the day. You spend 5 cents, you get yourself a nice soda pop, you go walk around town. Like, I love this era in movies.
Right?
We have the
back. Damn.
Dude, I would love to have it. If we could time jump, I would spend a massive amount of time in the late 50s, early 60s. And then I would spend a fuck ton of time in the 80s. And then I would definitely go back to the 90s for my childhood.
I was just say, just give me the 90s, actually. Just give me the 90s.
So good. The 90s were the sweet spot.
Oh, yeah.
We hear the church bells going off. And Bud says it's curfew and they need to go home. Mitch and Richie are like, nah, dude. Fuck that, man. Like, you're a bitch, dude. Let's go smoke. And us being older, when someone tells us, like, yo, let's go smoke, you think, like, we're going to go smoke some pot. We're going to go get high. Yeah. These kids are straight up like, nah, bro, we got Lucky Strikes.
It's literally just cigarettes.
We about to smoke them Lucky Strikes. Mitch and Richie are now out there, and they're in right outside of the cornfield, and they make a pact because Richie wow, I'm going to fuck this up all night, man. It is late. Mitch
I'm tired.
believes in Richie to the point where he says, I'd put $100 on you to beat your brother in the run any day of the week. You're faster, you're smarter, like you got it all, man. So they make this pact. They're going to run it together. And This is going to give Mitch the opportunity to move next door to Richie like nothing ever happened, and they can go back to being neighbors like the old days. Richie makes his way home now, and they're sitting down for a beautiful home-cooked meal in this big-ass house, wide open. But you can tell something's off. And
Oh
Richie
yeah.
tells his parents, he's like, I want to do the run. And immediately his mom checks out. And the dad just starts laying into him. He's like, you fucking tell me, what are the rules? You can't do it. And Richie's like, you know what? Fuck the rules. I'm doing it. He goes upstairs and he hangs up the postcard that he got from Jim, his older brother. He puts it on the mirror, and the music that goes along with some of these scenes in the movie, like we talked about
Yeah.
this in the other movie. Like I
I was gonna say,
love it.
I knew
And
you were gonna say. I think you just mentioned that in Night of the Creeps.
and then Richie does his thing, dude. Instead of like going out and like causing mayhem or taking off, he simply goes back to his old house and he sits down and he lights up a cigarette. And we meet Annie. This is Jim's old flame from the beginning of the movie. And they talk a little bit about Jim and how they both got postcards. We get another cut scene and we meet the farmer and he's beginning to dig up Sawtooth Jack. He's carving a fucking pumpkin, and it's not any pumpkin. It looks like a white pumpkin. And the way they shoot this, or the lens they use, instead of seeing like orange mush, didn't it look like it was blood red on the inside? Almost like he was
Oh
trying to
yeah.
carve like a grapefruit or something like that.
Yeah, it didn't look natural. It looked weird.
Yeah. I mean, this reminds me that you should definitely bring back your I Can Carve Anything series on TikTok.
I know. I was thinking about that the other day.
But he starts hanging up Sawtooth Jack. He starts strapping him to this, like, I don't know if you could describe it as a scarecrow post. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's oh my god, I can't talk either. It definitely would seem like a scarecrow post.
Scarecrow post.
God.
All right, dude. So we fast forward to the next morning, and Richie gets jumped by Riley and Marty. And Richie doesn't put up much of a fight. It's kind of like he already knows he's outnumbered, so he just kind of takes the beat and plays defense.
Oh yeah.
But these punk ass fucking jocks, dude, they steal his belt buckle. And you can tell because of their love for cars. And if you looked at the pictures and the postcards and stuff, there's obviously some connection with that belt buckle. And they steal it. And this, you can hear Richie's heartbreak as they take it and just fucking see you later. This sends Richie off into like a fucking full rage. And as he goes home, dude, he opens his mailbox and he's got a full-blown handwritten letter from his brother Jim that he's never gotten before. And it basically tells him like, hey man, I love you. I'm not ready to come home yet. People still think I'm a hero. I'm not a hero. I'll come home in due time, or I'll bring you out here with me. Timing's just not right, man. So sit tight, listen to mom and dad, and stay put. And he just goes off the rails, dude. He goes and he steals a car. He hotwires it, and he decides, I'm getting the fuck out of town. See you later. He's pounding beers. He's going nuts. And he gets cut off by Officer Jerry. And Officer Jerry, dude, just lays the absolute fucking beat down on him. And we now see, dude, like, all these boys are now being locked up in their bedrooms. 1,000 miles an hour, every single one of the boys. And at first, it seems like they're okay with it. They're ready. They're going to do the run. Because in the beginning opening scenes, the officer tells them, to get you guys hungry, we lock you up in your bedrooms for 3 days. You get no mommy. You get no nothing. You get no reading material. You get no milk. You get no water. You get no bathroom breaks. You get no showers. Like, it's like they're putting them in solitary in a maximum fucking prison. And slowly over the course of the days, Justin, these kids like start fucking up these walls.
I get you going insane, but I mean, why would they even do it for 3 days? Don't they don't think like 2 days are enough? Like I felt that was a little excessive, but I mean, I'm not in this town, so whatever.
These kids, dude, some of them have machetes, and they're fucking up their bedrooms, like destroying it, ripping apart paper, like fucking up their mattresses, going nuts. And again, dude, with the soundtrack that plays with the set of scenes fits so perfectly, and I can't recommend watching this enough. But it's now 3 days later, and it's almost time for this run to begin. So you start seeing all the bedroom doors unlock. They open the doors. They let these kids out. And for some reason, 99% of these kids, although they went away with nothing, they all have Halloween costumes now, and they're armed with melee weapons. Like you can see behind Justin, they've got pitchforks, hammers, axes, machetes, scythes, baseball bats, knives, like the whole 9 yards. And these kids are not fucking around.
It's the Purge now. We are watching the Purge 1963.
Yeah, dude, dead ass, dude. Yeah, because they fucking full blown sprint into the streets, and it looks. If you could take, do you remember the movie The Sandlot?
Oh shit, yeah.
When they're having the block party and the kids are just sprinting around everywhere. That's what it looks like from an aerial standpoint.
Yep.
And now we see that they're actually cutting down Sawtooth Jack. And this farmer is stuffing him full of candy and sewing his chest shut. And now it's time for the boys to go out on the hunt. I literally have in my notes, Justin, this looks like Purge Night if it was less rapey and set on Halloween.
Seriously, it really felt like the Purge.
Now, Richie wakes up to his dad at his bedside, and he says, "What's going on?" He says, You were asleep. You were knocked out for a while." He's like, "How long was I out?" He goes, 3 days. And immediately clicks in Richie's head like, dude, I got to go. I need to go to the run. And his dad is begging him, and Richie fights back and kind of pushes him into like the bedside and gets up and goes to leave. And his mom is begging him not to go, and she's offering him like muffins and cupcakes and milk and just trying to do everything to keep him there. And Richie just gives her a look and straight up snatches like a muffin or a cookie and just dips the fuck out. We see all the boys in the street now, and they're hungry and they're fucking, I'd say a little bit psychotic, but it looks like they're a whole lot psychotic. And we even get a group of kids. And one of them just goes, "I'm so hungry, I'd cut my nuts off for a Twinkie." The boys link up, though, and Mitch is the only smart one, apparently, in this whole group, because he takes his fucking pickup truck to go out to the cornfields to get a jump start over everyone else who's on foot.
Why did only one person think? I'm so confused. Like, I didn't understand.
I think it might have been one of those things where it's like an unwritten rule that you don't, like, use cars, you don't use guns. You literally get let out of your house and you just sprint. And you run around town all night.
I was like, don't get me wrong. I'm like, I thought it was cool and stuff, but I'm like, how is this dumb that this randomly? I don't know. I just thought that was a little weird. I'm like, this one group of person, like they do it, but no one else has ever thought of that. Yeah. I was just a little confused.
Mitch's truck is an absolute pile of shit, and it kind of stalls out. And this same group of boys, the one that said like, "Oh, I'd cut my nuts off for a Twinkie," they start telling him like it's not fair. And as they're trying to fix this truck, these kids start breaking it. And then they get Mitch's truck running, and I like this fucking scene, dude. As they're going to leave, Richie leans out the window and throws the rest of his like cookie or muffin or whatever on the ground, and these kids attack it like they're piranhas or vultures.
Crazy.
And then while they're driving, they start putting on it looks like soot or some kind of ash, because I don't think they had like face paint back then. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But they start wearing like, on your left and right, Justin, they start putting on these skeleton masks. I feel like I've seen these masks 1,000 times at Spirit Halloween or Walmart and stuff, like very generic, but they fit so well on these kids' faces. The atmosphere, the way like the lighting is, it all comes together so perfect.
It's the Misfits mask.
Yeah, all right,
it's
that's
like,
what it is.
Literally, it's the band.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. All right.
No, it's the Crimson Ghost, the Misfits logo.
I was like, I fucking know. I've seen
this.
You wouldn't mind either, dude, but my fantasy football league is called the Misfits. And I use that skull.
Yeah, it's literally Crimson Ghost, the Misfits.
So I just have in like massive like capital letters in my notes. This is so aesthetically pleasing, and I love it.
Oh, dude, from the first scene of this movie, I thought it looked beautiful.
So they're driving, they're bickering back and forth, and Bud is having an absolute breakdown. And while the boys look at him trying to like figure out why he's being such a crybaby about everything and how he's describing how he has seen Sawtooth Jack when he was a kid, they hit something in the road and the truck completely dies. Like his truck is done for. They get out and they start looking around and they like see feet prints like on the side of the road or footprints, and they run towards it and they see Candy and they again attack it like fucking vultures.
Attack!
And Richie's the only one. No, it's Mitch. He's like, we kill and then we eat.
Yeah.
And even he doesn't follow the rules. But Richie's like, shut up. shut up. Like, you hear that? I can hear it. And he looks off in the distance and he sees Sawtooth Jack coming to life. You can hear that like, "Rah," like
Oh,
crazy
so
fucking
creepy.
growl thing he does. And
So
now the
creepy.
hunt is on. These boys are running at 1,000 fucking miles an hour after him, full speed. And the first one to get taken out is their boy, Charlie. And you kind of knew this was coming because out of the four of them, Charlie has kind of just been a background character. So he's there for just
100%.
body count.
You know he's dead.
Charlie hits the ground and he's like out of breath, and you can tell he's nervous. And then he gets dragged away. And we get an amazing scene. We don't actually see it happen, but we hear Sawtooth Jack cut this fucking dude in half. And then his body just like floats into the air, and the way it separates with the blood. How pumped up are you right now looking at these kills?
That was insane. No, my jaw dropped. I didn't expect this to be like gory like that. I was just like, what the hell did I just witness? And dude, it's going to get worse shortly.
My heart is fucking going nuts. I'm like, this is awesome.
No, I did not expect that. And in a minute, it's going to get worse.
And Bud panics and he goes his own way. He just takes off. See you later. Bud's on his own. Mitch and Richie are still going full speed trying to find Sawtooth Jack. And we hear like a scythe or like a slice or something. I'm thinking it might be his hands that are like this lethal. Or like maybe vines. Maybe like pumpkin vines. That would be pretty sick. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Hear it again and we look and we see, dude, Mitch has had his fucking head cut off, but not his whole head. Just from like his eyebrows back.
Yeah, like.
And it happens so fast and it's so clean that his head is gone. He's not even bleeding yet. And he has enough time to go, Richie, before he drops to his knees. Another fucking amazing kill, bro.
That came out of nowhere too. I was like, oh shit. I did not expect that in this movie.
And you can tell, dude, Richie's feeling it right now. Like he is, I'm dead. I'm killing this man, or something's happening. Like his adrenaline's through the roof. He don't know what anxiety and fucking panic attacks are yet, but I guarantee you he's having both of them at the same time.
Everything.
And he comes face to face with Sawtooth, and they stare at each other. And then Richie does the smart thing, in my opinion. He turns around and he runs as fast as he fucking can in the opposite direction. I'm out of here.
Abort mission.
Yeah, abort mission. I have a pitchfork. And I have nope. See you later. Then he runs and he makes his way back to where Sawtooth Jack is born, at his gravesite and the scarecrow like T-shaped looking hanger thing. And he actually bumps into Kelly, and they see Bud too. And Bud again is just, see you later. I'm done. I'm on my own.
I'm out.
And he starts talking to Kelly, and she's like, "Did you see him?" He's like, "Yep." And she's like, "Well, did you kill him?" And he's like, "Nope." And she's like, well, why not? And he's like, well, what are you doing here? Like, girls aren't even allowed in the run. And she's like, and neither are you. And he's like, fuck the rules. So they kind of like band up. And she goes, all right, let's go in the other direction. And this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. He goes, you don't want to go that way. And she's like, what? Why? And he's like, you need a better weapon. And she like looks at like this tiny ass little like shiv that you would make in prison. And she's like, well, what do you got in mind? And he goes, I don't know, like a fucking gun.
Fucking gun?
Like I've seen what this dude can do. Like we need an army. What are you doing sending out a bunch of 17, 18-year-old kids with pitchforks?
Insane.
So they decide to team up. But then we go back and we see Bud. He's running full speed and he's actually running home. And he starts banging on the door. And you can hear just this scared little boy that's inside of Bud, and he's begging for his mom. He's literally saying, Mommy, let me in, Mommy. I don't want to do this. And the mom opens the door and she's in tears. And she's like, you have to do this, sweetheart. You have to stay out there. Make us proud. We need this. If you win, we need this money. And his dad, dude, just being like a dad back in the 60s, I guess, like fucking kicks him down the front stairs and tells him to be a man.
Crazy.
Like
get out there. Be a man.
Such an asshole.
Terrible.
And then he's sitting there, and you can tell like Bud is just devastated. And you can hear almost exactly the way Bud described his interaction with Sawtooth. You can hear a neighboring kid screaming, Bud, behind you. And I don't know why he doesn't just run, but he puts on his skeleton mask and then turns around and looks at Sawtooth Jack and starts fucking sprinting. And he makes his way to like an underground root cellar or like a storm shelter or something like
Yeah,
that, like
it
a
looks like a
tornado
bulkhead,
bunker.
like a bulkhead to like a exactly like
Yeah,
a storm thing or something.
and he starts beating the fuck out of this door. Let me in, let me in. And this kid goes, no, there's no room in here. He goes, I'm fucking tiny. Let me in. Like, I'm not going to take up any
Yeah,
room. He goes, $20. He
I was
goes,
gonna
I'll
say,
pay
he
you
says
tomorrow.
$20.
I'll pay you tomorrow. He goes, nope, that wasn't the deal. He's like, everyone in there already paid. Can't let you in. And as he's
What a
banging on
dick.
this door, dude, we hear Sawtooth Jack is now there. And these kids don't shut the fuck up in there. They still trying to open the door. So Sawtooth Jack, I would think is got half a fucking pumpkin for a head, and knows that someone's in that basement as well. So he
Oh yeah,
grabs Bud, and he does one of the coolest kills I've seen
dude.
in a long time. He straight up uses these massive fucking hands. Yeah, tell me about it, Justin. Tell me about it.
Oh, he literally grabs like the top of this dude's jaw and just pulls his head off, like literally in half. Like he pulls this dude's head off. The kills in this movie, like the blood and how it looks in the background, so insane,
Dude, and
crazy.
then
There's
to
been like,
follow this up, when he goes right after this kill, dude, he rips open those storm doors,
my
and you just hear like the dreaded like dun dun, like this the soundtrack again. It's not actual music. It's part of the soundtrack. Becomes its own character in the scene because Sawtooth Jack rips these open, slowly walks down these stairs, and it's like if you could take. I know we've said this on a previous podcast, but the elevator blood scene from Kubiak's fucking The Shining, but
yeah,
make it coming through the floor. He goes into this basement. You don't see him kill anyone, but you just see like a tidal wave of blood just start spraying out of this bulkhead. It's incredibly
crazy.
done. And I don't even need the kills in there, dude. Like I love the
No,
way
just
this is shot.
dude, it was cool seeing him walk down there and then just like an over the top like wave shoot out. And like never mind, like I'm pretty sure at that point, like you see the kid in the window like scream, like he witnesses all that shit. It's just really eerie, gory, crazy. Very,
Dude,
very cool.
Sawtooth Jack's body count just went from what, 4 to
Dude,
40?
I was gonna say, I don't even know how many kids he just killed in there. Holy
This
crap.
dude, Sawtooth Jack is fucking setting records in this basement right now for body counts.
Seriously.
Like when the cops like, yeah, one of your friends might die.
Might die.
He makes it
But
sound
yeah,
like
those-
it's not that big of a deal. Dude just wasted half a fucking English class.
Yeah, they wiped out. His kill count's like 25 now.
So we cut away from this and we see Mitch and Kelly. They're running through the town and they're dodging his dad. And Mitch goes in through this side house right here. I believe it's this one, yeah. He goes in through like one of the windows and says, like, wait right here, I'll be right back. Comes back and he hands her just a rack of beer. And she goes, oh, this was your plan? And he goes, no. And he pulls out a pistol. Like, yes, my motherfucker's got a gun. And he's not done yet, dude. He's not showing his badassedness between beer, swearing, being a greaser, rocking a pistol. He says, fuck it. He's like, fuck Officer Rick. I don't like that dude. Dude, he hotwires the goddamn cop car and takes off and starts to hunt Sawtooth Jack now, following the goddamn dispatch over the radio, reporting where he might be.
Love it.
She says something like, over the radio, she's like, there's a lot of commotion on Main Street. And someone says they spotted Sawtooth Jack. And all this commotion, it gets fucking wild because we see our local butcher, who's also, I don't know if you recognized him, Justin.
I did. I know who he is.
From 30 Days a Night. He's
Let's
Bobby.
Go.
He's also
Let's
Bobby
go.
from Sons of Anarchy. He decides he wants to protect his shop tonight. So he's not fucking around because he's been out there the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
He's whistling, and these kids start fucking trying to break in. Cocks his shotgun, and you hear one of them go, make us a fucking sandwich. And he's like, get back,
why
you
are these
scoundrels.
kids? I don't understand this. Like, I get they're starved and crazy, but why are these kids? I know you want the money and everything, but like, shouldn't they also want the town just to not have a dark eye? Like, shouldn't people work more together? Like, why are they actually want to like kill this guy and make him shoot people and stuff? Like, these kids need to chill the fuck out. What is wrong with these kids? Chill a little bit.
And he starts blasting them. Like, obviously, dude, this town don't give a fuck what happens on Purge Night, because what happens on Purge Night stays on Purge Night. Because he is literally emptying shells into fucking teenagers.
I was gonna say, now he's shooting teenagers.
That's someone's kid. Mrs. Smith's gonna come in tomorrow to buy a fucking porterhouse and be like, "Oh, is that my kid's brains all over the side of this building?"
Oh, that's little Bobby.
Yeah, little Bobby. I guess I mean you can mix him in with the hamburger meat. No one's gonna know the difference.
Crazy.
Yeah. Or you know what? We don't know this local butcher's name, but it's definitely Thomas Hewitt. This is where Leatherface was born.
Yeah. Yes. Seriously, right here.
And eventually, dude, they hit this guy with a brick, and then they just overrun him and break into the butcher shop. And you think it's over, right? Nope. There's another group of kids that looks like they're just in it for the kills, and they start beating this man to death.
I was like, what? That's what
I thought.
like,
I thought you'd fucking knock him out. You guys want the food.
Dude, that's what I was wondering. I didn't even understand. I'm like, all right, I get like all this, but why? Like people just going that insane. Like, why did they do that to him? It's so crazy.
We go back to Richie and Kelly now, and they actually get into it with the jocks and Riley, and I'm not sure the other guy's name, but he starts going like, "You're sweet on the Negro." Like the way they word this, man. I know they don't use anything like derogatory or out of place. But it made me feel so uncomfortable taking notes, because you know the way they used to talk back then and how this situation would have played out if it was in real time.
Oh, yeah.
But I also love the fact that they're starting to team up and attack Richie, and Kelly ain't having that, dude. They start fighting back, and they fuck these dudes up, and you can hear the sissy one of the jock go, "Oh, my nose! Oh, my nose!" Yeah. And he hits the ground. And Richie finally gets his belt buckle back.
Yep.
And one of them goes, "You can't do that. You're a girl." One of them goes, "Yeah, you can't do that. You got a gun. That's not fair." And then the other one goes, "Yeah, you're a girl." And she goes, "Yeah, I'm a Negro with a club." And she just fucking straight up Griffies his ass.
Oh, Ken Griffey Jr., home run. Let's go.
And now we get more in depth with all these kids running around in circles, and we're starting to focus more on like the group of kids outside of Richie, and we see some random ass kid who's just self-proclaiming he's going to win the run, and he's dancing around. He's got his arms up like he's fucking King Tut out there, and he challenges this kid in a pig cop mask, and he goes, "Hey, you copper, do you got what it takes? Come on, show me what you got." And this kid, without hesitation, just pulls out a machete and fucking chops his head in half from the forehead to the fucking top of the jawbone. And it is amazing. And what's even better is it's now Justin's turn to fucking finish this movie up. Let's go.
Yeah, like, holy shit. So we literally have so many heads cut in half. I wasn't expecting all the body slicing, I guess, in this movie. But then again, I didn't really know what to expect. But here we go. So we got heads chopped in half. And then we see three kids walking, and they actually spot Sawtooth. But then we cut away, so we don't know what happens to them. We see Richie and Kelly. They're in the car. They got actually a nice emotional talk. It's all they're bonding, getting to know each other and everything. And then on the radio, like Sean talked about how they're listening to the dispatch, we hear Sawtooth is now spotted on Oak Street. And like, oh shit, let's go. But we also see that the cop was next to the dispatcher. And so you're kind of thinking like, I wonder if he's like setting them up for something. So they go down there. They right away, they do see Sawtooth. And Richie actually has a clear shot at him. He gets like face to face with him again. He like completely freezes. And I believe Sean
stares at the belt buckle.
Yeah, he is staring at this belt buckle. Like, and he's like frozen. He is just staring at this belt. So right away, you're like, oh shit, like something's going on here. And then basically Kelly runs over and is like, "What are you doing?" and like smashes Sawtooth. He's gone. A guy comes out with a shotgun and scares them away. So they all
Dude, this is the fucking town pastor.
Yeah,
like obviously they've got no regard for anything. If this is supposed to be your holy leader at the church and he's telling you get the fuck back out there.
Guys saying get the fuck back out there. It's literally got a shotgun telling him get the fuck back out there. And anyway, so they get back to the car, and then all of a sudden now we got the gun goes to the head, and we have the officer right there, and he is threatening them. But then basically he starts wrestling with them. But oh my god, I can't speak.
Yeah,
he starts wrestling with the cop, and the gun ends up going off, and it friggin' hits Kelly. Kelly gets friggin' shot. So Richie's like, all right, we need to get her home. He goes to his house and he's dragging her in there, and his mom's there. And right away, like the mom's acting wicked weird. Like it's just like a very uncomfortable
So
scene.
at this scene, dude, I don't know if you've noticed this, but every time I see the mom, I feel like she's
Yeah.
heavily medicated.
Oh god,
We get like a fraction of a second close up onto a bottle prescribed by Dr. Stevens, and it's
Yeah.
actually benzodiazepines, which are
Yeah.
depressants that produce sedation and hypnotic like states.
Yeah, dude, she was just like sounding stuff like a robot with like no emotion, just like just talking like this, like very weird,
Yes,
honey.
yeah, yes.
Everything's fine. What are you talking about? And you tell Richie's all right. So Richie stares at the belt buckle and you realize he's like, all right, something's going on. He's like, Mom, who won the race like the year before? And then he's like, what happened to him? Who won it the year before? And she's like telling all these names. What happened to him? Like, where'd he go?
Yeah.
What happened to him? Has
This
he ever
one's
come
an
back?
author. He wrote a book called East of Eden. He's
Yeah,
really
she's saying all
famous.
these
This one got
exactly.
into a tragic car accident. You know this.
Yeah,
Like
cover
everyone's got a story for not coming home.
I was gonna say every single person has some like elaborate story why they are not ever seen again. And then he's like, Mom, did you write the letter? Like, did you write the letter from oh god, I forget his name.
Yeah, from
the
Jimmy.
big brother. Yeah, from Jim. Did you write that letter? And you see like the mom starts like bawling her eyes out. And I'm like, all right, is she drunk? Like, what is going on?
This
And
acting is
then,
this is a masterclass on acting, dude.
dude, and
The way she tears up without making any other emotions is just
yeah, I was like, holy crap, she's bawling her eyes out. And then she like stabs herself in the neck and kills herself.
yeah. She tells
Like-
Richie to. She's like, end it. It has to end tonight. And then she just
It
fucking
has
straight
to
up
end.
yank
And then just
right into
straight
her
up
artery.
literally says you end it and cuts herself right in the neck. Holy crap. As all this is happening, you see Sawtooth like in a house and his head is going full Ghost Rider mode. It is burning up just everything. The house is completely on flames.
This is where everything came together for me. I don't know if it did for you, but like the mom tells him like, "Oh, I've been writing it without saying I've been writing it."
100%. Like you said, the second like you see the belt buckle, you're like, wait a minute, like what's going on? And you're like, oh my god, like is his brother? Like where did like his brother okay? And now like the mom's dead and everything.
You get the voices when he's in this house and he's walking through like the corridors. You can hear like in Sawtooth Jack's head, Jim's the winner. Jim's the winner.
Yes, you hear
no stop signs on the black road.
Yep. Everything's clicking, like you said. You see the scene with Sawtooth, you're like, oh my god, like that's Jim. Like Jim is like somehow like in there or possessed by this thing. And then we see the sheriff, and he's in just some dark place, and Richie's dad actually pulls up to him, and he's like, I'm not doing it. It's not worth it. And he just freaks out on him, says he's not doing it. The officer says blah blah blah. You got to do it. Like this is.
He gives him that whole story about like 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Someone didn't do it, and then the sandstorm came in, and fucking by the time it went away, my dad went out and got my oldest brother, and his body literally split in half, and like sand was pouring out of it.
Split in half with sand pouring out of his stomach. Just gives the whole story or whatever. He's like, you got to do it. Like the town went into a 9-year downfall. Like get it done. It's your damn responsibility. And now we see Richie and Kelly, and then they're sitting down and they're piecing the whole entire thing together now. They're like, holy shit, like they're coming up with a new plan. And they're basically like, you know what? We are ending this tonight. This friggin' ends. Let's go. And then we see it is now 10 minutes until midnight. We got absolute chaos right now. There is just chaos. Like it's anytime it cuts to the street scenes, it's like purge shit. Like you just picture so much.
There's fucking kids running everywhere. That kid Riley actually, I think does he get hit by the cop, or does he run into the cop car?
Yeah, he like runs. Yeah, he runs, and the cop literally lets the bully in. He gives him a gun.
He's like, "Congratulations, kid."
Yeah, congratulations, kid. You're winning it tonight. And at this point, it just keeps getting like more aesthetically pleasing, I guess, because there's fires everywhere. There's jack-o'-lanterns like lit up everywhere.
This looks like one of the houses from Trick or Treat.
Yeah, dude, this scene reminded me that when they showed all that stuff was going on, it reminded me of Trick or Treat. And basically, all of a sudden, everyone leaves the church area. Everyone runs somewhere else, so they all go somewhere else. And we see Richie and Kelly now. They're like, wait, where the hell is everyone? Like, we're approaching the church. It's like 9 minutes to go right now. And they walk in there, and they go in there, and the church is empty besides one person. and their dad is there. And he's like, Dad, what the hell are you doing in here? He's like, Dad, I know the truth. Like I know what's going on. And he's like, I saw a sawtooth emerge from the woods. And the dad's like, well, and he basically says, well, say his name. Like, say his name. Like, say his name.
This you could feel the pain in his voice.
Oh yeah. And he's like, Jim, and I was sworn to secrecy. And his dad starts telling him, like, I promise, like, I didn't know the truth at first. At first, I didn't know the truth. And he goes on talking about how, like, the Harvesters Guild, I believe they're called,
Yeah.
like, they will kill any single person that tries to leave. There's pretty much like no escaping. He basically says, like,
And you believe him too, because Kelly
yeah,
earlier on was like, yo, I'm only back here because I'm living with my aunt now. My parents died in a tragic car accident. She's like, my dad left this town during the war, and after the war, he never came back.
And even
so obviously they found him.
And if you flash back to the scene earlier, like when Richie was driving, he couldn't even get out of the damn the cop literally like caught him at the border, like wouldn't even let him get out of the town. So like these people, it's freaking crazy. And so yeah, then he tells him, he's like, Mom's dead. Like, what is even going on now? Like, Mom's dead. And he basically says, well, the kid who wins, like, their family like will suffer. And as he's talking more, all of a sudden we hear the church bell going off. So they all like, oh shit, like here we go. So they all run outside right now. And sure enough, like Sawtooth is like emerging from the woods right there. We got the church like right here. They're walking out of the church.
Dude,
and
Richie is a wreck. He is a wreck in this scene.
This is a complete mess now. So he's literally face to face with them again, and he knows who it is now. So he's basically like, it's me.
It's
like,
me,
Jim,
it's your brother,
like,
it's
Richie.
me.
It's Richie. Like, it's me. And all of a sudden he literally gets someone blasts Sawtooth, and Richie grabs him. And he's carrying him now. He's carrying Sawtooth like up the friggin' steps of the church, and now he's sitting on the steps, and he's got Sawtooth in his lap, and someone shoots him again. So this guy shot again, and Richie pulls the gun on the guy. He's like, "Look,
he's like, don't you fucking touch him."
Yeah, don't you touch him. Like, you're not doing it. As this kid's was gonna kill him, like he pulls the gun on him. But then all of a sudden you see Sawtooth grabs the gun and puts it to his own friggin' head.
Yeah, he's kind of like, it's okay. Like, I know if anyone's going to win, I want it to be you.
So crazy. So literally you see Richie say sorry, shuts his eyes, and pulls the friggin' trigger. Like Sean said,
dude, my heart is in my stomach right now.
Dude, I don't even know what to feel. I'm like, this, like, so I literally was just like, what? This is like insane, awful, but now what's going to happen to him? And then all of a sudden, like, the chants start. Here we go. All of a sudden, Richie's the winner. Chanting for Richie. Richie's the winner. We flash forward to the midnight dance, and he looks, miserable. This isn't like the other dance where everyone's celebrating. People are celebrating, but Richie looks absolutely miserable. The cop basically even comes up to him and says that he's a hero. It's dance time. He's dancing with Kelly, and he basically whispers to her, like, hey, pack your things and meet me to the crossing. And he starts kissing her. And never mind, like, the people,
I love
kissing
how they don't give a fuck that they're kissing each other, and all those white people are like giving them the nastiest look.
They look appalled. They're judging them so freaking bad, and they're just having their big kiss, and then basically the next scene you see he gets his $20,000 check. You see he gets a car, and he drives away. So he is gone. And as he's going to get Kelly, we see the dad confronts the cop, and the cop's like, dude, you just needed to keep him locked up for one night. For one night, you had to keep him locked up, and now I had to put him in the ground. And the dad has like a shotgun, and this dad is, I don't even know. I'm not even gonna lie. I hate this dad so much. He is such a terrible character and so weak and pathetic. Yeah. I can't even tell you how much I hate this dad and think he's such an idiot, because I don't even understand any of the points of it. Like, why did you even confront him if you're not even going to kill him? He basically literally gets knocked. Like,
I think the only explanation behind like how bad this dad sucks, dude, is he is so broken from knowing that they murdered his son and then said, if you say anything, we're going to kill you. Just deal with it. I'd imagine one full year of just sitting there with your mouth shut and trying to play nice has just probably broken this dude beyond repair.
Yeah, he is very broken, because holy shit, what a mess. And so now we see Richie. He goes, picks up Kelly, and all of a sudden, what do you know? Who's behind him? The cop is chasing him. He tells her to duck, so at least the cop won't see her. And all of a sudden, there's a car sideways in the road. He tries to miss it, and boom, he crashes. There's no escaping this damn town. Like I said, they had this car sideways on the friggin' road. He basically kisses Kelly goodbye. He gets out. Cop gets to him right there. Cop messes him up. They walk. He like walks him like a prisoner, like into the cornfield, like in front of him, like basically makes him march into the friggin' cornfield. Luckily though, Richie turns around and shoots the cop in the shot. Shoots the cop. I can't talk tonight.
Yeah, he
Shoots the cop
shoots
in
him
the
right in
gut,
the gut.
and then again in the neck. Let's fucking go. I can't even tell you how excited I was at this point. Like I'm like, this is the greatest ending that I've
I
ever seen in my
love that,
life.
dude. I love the fact, dude, that when Richie shoots him in the gut and he drops to his knees, and Richie's starting to ask him these questions like, why? Why do you do this? Who makes you do this? Does it ever
Yeah,
end? And the cop basically says, like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's what has to be done. Richie doesn't even
yeah.
give him the time of the day. He's like, well, then fuck you.
No.
You're dead. But
Yep.
I do like
And,
before they get in this corn maze, when he gets out and the cop tells him to walk and he goes, hey, your dad actually tried to save you. Do you see that smile on Richie's face? Like, all right, my dad's still in
yeah.
there.
Yeah, exactly. He was definitely happy to hear that. But before you can even like celebrate, all of a sudden we get a shovel to the head. Richie gets knocked the fuck down by that old insane farmer guy. And he literally throws him into a grave. And I'm just like waiting for someone to rescue him at this time.
Yeah, I'm like, where's
And
Kelly? Kelly, come on, let's
yeah,
go.
I was like, hello. And he's literally getting dirt. Like at one point, you literally see like his mouth, and you can just see his eyes. I'm like, and no, he literally gets all of a sudden like buried, and the farmer guy drives away. We flash to Kelly in the car, and his dad basically gets there and tells her just to go, tells her to get out of here. She basically says like, you know what, fuck you in this town. She floors it, just drives to get away. And then I believe it cuts. It says
We get end
like
credits,
one,
right?
yeah, end credits, and then it says like 1 year later. And now we see Lily insane. We see Richie getting made into friggin' Sawtooth, and we see that the dad cuts him down, and then like the farmer whose job is it like walks out there, and he's like, "The hell are you doing?" And he literally was he shoot the farmer? I forget what he does to the farmer.
Yeah,
Does he shoot
he
or kill
kills
him?
the
Yeah, he
yeah.
literally, yeah, he kills the farmer right away. And then we see now Richie fully Sawtooth Jack, and he basically just says, "Burn it all down." Boom.
I
End credits.
love
Let's
this
fucking
ending.
go.
Loved it.
I I hated the ending of this movie, but
Well,
I liked.
I love the ending of the ending when the
Yeah.
dad cuts him down. That I
Oh
love that. My heart, dude,
yeah.
broke when they put Richie into the
Yeah.
ground and they fucking buried him alive, bro.
Dude, rest all the shit he
Alive?
went through. All the shit he went through, man. Oh, there was a lot to unpack in this.
Fuck.
Oh,
Dude, all right.
fuck.
So, what are your thoughts on this movie?
Uh, all right. So my thoughts are it was visually, I think it was like a 10 out of 10. I strongly recommend every single I think this is definitely a fun watch. I almost got a little pissed off because I it was all right. So visually, I was hooked right away. It looks beautiful, but I wanted to like it more than I did, only because I think they had so much cool stuff going for it. But parts of the story I just thought was so stupid, and I feel like I can get a lot. I can let a lot of stuff slide in movies that are like supposed to be dumb and like slashers and like the fun scale I always talk about. But some of the stuff didn't make sense to me. Like when they were in the gym, they were talking about how this happens every single year. Like this is a known fact. Like kids have died, all this stuff has happened, and a few of the kids were like they didn't think it was real. They're like, oh, I say it's fake and everything. Like they thought
Yeah,
it was like a
the
folk
sheriff
tale.
takes a
I'm like,
loony bin,
how?
like a guy from the loony bin, and then fucking hog ties him and just has him run
Yeah,
through the town. And
yeah. I was so confused. I'm like, how do you think that's like fake? If literally people, this is an every year thing. I didn't quite understand. I'm like, where's any other cops? I'm like, there's one sheriff that is like running this whole entire thing. Didn't really, but like that's nitpicking. I liked, like I said, so much of this is fun, and it's definitely a fun movie, and I'm wicked glad I watched it. But originally, I thought I was gonna be rating this in like the eights. Like I thought it was gonna be something really, really special. I thought I was gonna be giving it a lot, but I give it a 7 out of 10. I still think it's a very fun watch. Some of it just pissed me off because I was liking it so much because like the kills were so fucking wild. I'm so glad I watched this. I still feel like seven's a solid score. Some of it just some of the kids just were. I didn't understand why the kids were all like turning on each other and slicing each
Yeah.
other and doing some shit. Some of the shit I thought was so stupid it hurt my brain, but overall fun movie. Like I'm not gonna lie, like some of the shit I'm like, wow, like I really like these last scenes, and then it did something so dumb. I'm like, damn it, like I'm trying to overlook this, but I didn't even understand. Like, but overall, 7 out of 10. What do you got?
So, like you said, dude, cinematically, dude, this movie is
Oh,
beautiful. I have
watch
not
it.
seen a more beautiful movie in quite some time. I love the soundtrack. Like we talked about this with Night of the Creeps. There's something about those old timey songs played in a horror movie that just hit, like they touch my soul. They warm my heart.
Let's
The
go.
character building. I love the character building. I'm a huge fan of Mitch. I'm a huge fan of Richie. I'm not a big fan of the parents, but I even like Jim. Do we get
Oh,
Jim for like such a short amount of time?
yeah.
But you can tell that like there is a bond between brothers when the only person he actually says goodbye to is his brother, and he goes, "Love you, baby B." And
Yep.
baby B, dude, has nothing to do with Richie. It's baby boy. That's it. That's because that's what his mom calls him. So Jim calls Richie baby B. So you can
Yep.
feel that intense like brotherhood right there, and that, dude, like you said, I don't understand the need for these kids to turn on each other. It was hard to like fully understand and get
Yeah.
behind. I did love the
There's a lot of
kills,
weird shit that hurt my brain. I was
and I
like,
could get if at some point you had one kid that was like a little bit sadistic that had a little bit of character building leading into this, I'd
right? We
take
needed
that.
more something like, yes.
Yeah.
Some of the
Um,
stuff, the people just acted like they shouldn't act. Like, I'm like, I don't quite understand why.
I'm gonna rate this movie a 7.8. So we're both in the
Yep.
sevens. I'm higher than you. But
Yep.
I need to know more about the guild. Is this like a satanic cult? Or
Dude,
did something happen to this town where like the soil is tainted and the only way to fend off or to appease whatever is, cursing this town is to give it a sacrifice every year and they turn it into some crazy fucking sick twisted game and spin it this way? Or like I want to know more, but at the same time, I think I like this movie so much because I don't know these things.
that's the thing. I do love, like, I love when you need to know stuff, but I do love like a little mystery, not knowing. And it just, like I said, it just pissed me off because I do like this. I was having this is a fun movie. I had fun with this movie, and I'm very glad. And that's why it almost made me more passionately that some of the shit just made no sense at all, just because it was taking itself serious. Like I get, like if we watch something
Yeah, if it
like
got
some of the
campy or
slashes,
something like that, yeah.
yeah, exactly. You go with it. You're like, all right, well, clearly this makes sense, but no, I'm like, no, they want me to treat this like a serious movie, and I'm like, why is there just one cop? Like this guy's doing all this shit. Where is someone else from the guild? Like, where are this other stuff? I'm like, how is this? Why is the kid? I don't understand. Like, what happens if they just let the kid go too? I'm so like some of the stuff just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, I don't understand, but
Yeah.
overall, it was fun and it looked cool.
I absolutely can't recommend this movie enough, especially when it comes time for Halloween season. This
It's
is
a
this
good.
is
I
definitely
would
going to be a
definitely
staple
watch
in
it in
my
October.
rotation. I watched it with Kristen twice. She never watches
Yep.
movies twice, and she gave it the thumbs up. And she is a
Yep.
worse critic than anyone I've known.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
You
you
got
got
any
any
fun?
fun
You got any?
facts?
Um. Oh, I also wrote that. This isn't a fun fact. This is just how I felt. I wrote this movie gave off in the fall vibes were awesome, but it gave out insane. I think we already covered it. I don't even need to say it, but I wrote. I really felt like The Outsiders mixed with The Purge mixed with Pumpkinhead. Like if you took those three movies, I felt like it so much. I did write that, not a fun fact, but just it was directed by David Slade, who directed 30 Days a Night. And I thought that was worth noting because 30 Days a Night, never mind, that's like my favorite vampire movie ever. I thought that movie looked really cool. Like the atmosphere in 30 Days of Night, like
Yes.
what it did for winter and like the van set was incredible. And again, in this movie, he did it for friggin' corn maze. Like, dude, just when they even opened with the corn maze, and I don't even know all the stuff blowing around, like pieces of
Yeah.
particles, whatever
You
that
see
was, corn.
yeah,
Like,
the shit floating in the air every
yo,
time there's wind.
it looked so freaking cool. This movie was based off a 2006 novel by Norman Partridge, and I'm just gonna go out on a limb. You haven't read the book, right?
No, no.
I'm
Come
just
on,
gonna
man.
say.
Do we have time to read books? Come
I
on.
know. I was gonna say we barely yet, no shit. But I just want to say if anyone did read the book, I'd imagine the book would be a lot better than the movie, just because I'm guessing it would probably like explain stuff and not rush some of the chaos. Maybe I'm just guessing. I don't know. Haven't seen the book. The cameo that we talked about was Mark Boone Jr., who played the town butcher, who was also in 30 Days a Night because it's directed by that director. The four boys wear the Crimson Ghost mask, which is from the Misfits. And I don't have the lines, but you see the two lines they say are from Misfit songs. When he says they
Yes,
all
he
put
says,
on,
"Come on." Well, as they're putting it on, he says, "Come on to a violent world with me," which
yeah,
is from the Misfit song "Violent World." And
yep,
later on, when they're seeing like huffing and puffing glue, he goes, he's in a rock band in Jersey, and then he calls the album "Teenagers from Mars,"
yep,
which is an explicit reference to the Misfits.
yeah. So we got a bunch of Misfits in here. Um, Takes place on Halloween '63, and the tagline is "Evil Stalks," also meaning play on words
Oh,
like corn stalks.
love it.
That's what I got.
The only other one I have that I thought was pretty cool was this is a very small cast, and it consists of only 25 men and 5 women.
Yep. There we go. Nice small group.
And
Let's go.
I've got nothing else. You covered everything I had.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. That about wraps it up. I had a ton of fun doing this movie. Again, I can't recommend it enough, especially in a Halloween rotation.
Yeah, watch this in October.
I might watch this again leading up to Halloween and not even for the podcast, dude. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie a lot.
You're gonna have no time. Don't lie. We have so much movies
we
to
got
get
so
to.
much shit we got to crank out. All right, dude. I'm Hacky.
Just Justin.
Stabby, where are you?
I know. Oh, shit. I'm
Just
like,
Justin. What's up?
Just
all right,
Justin,
we're out of
let's
here.
go.
Later.
Peace. Later.